this week's Movie Math, where apparently Ron Burgundy still isn't quite ready for prime time. Despite a marketing campaign as strong as he likes his scotch, and a promising debut of around 8 million on Wednesday, it wasn't Odin's Raven that did him in, but a dragon. Yes, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug held on to the #1 spot in its second weekend, almost duplicating the second-week drop of An Unexpected Journey. And despite not living up to expectations its opening weekend, Bilbo and his crew have gotten a sudden burst of energy, scrambling up to over 400 million worldwide. Speaking of not living up to expectations, Anchorman 2 failed to earn the 50 million the industry had been projecting. Instead, it came in at 40 million since it opened Wednesday and about 26 million for the weekend. Was opening a few days early the wrong move after all? Cruelly, the first Anchorman was also done in by a blockbuster sequel in its second week of release, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Has Will Ferrell crossed over into Robin Williams' Jim Carrey territory? He seems to be right on the line, standing next to Adam Sandler. Luckily, Anchorman 2 is the only big comedy in theaters right now and won't have any real competition until January 17th, with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube's Ride Along. But while Anchorman 2 has its genre all to itself, the box office is beginning to get a little crowded as we get closer and closer to Christmas. American Hustle and Saving Mr. Banks both went wide this weekend, yet Frozen seems to be frozen in place. Dropping a mere 15% in its fifth week, it will be a photo finish for third place between the animated musical and the pseudo-historical drama. Still, American Hustle cost less than a third to make, and with all its awards buzz, is expected to cross that all-important century mark. Meanwhile, Frozen is closing in fast on Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph to become the most successful pick of Disney Animation's second renaissance. Saving Mr. Banks didn't fly as high as a kite, performing more like an Emma Thompson film than a Tom Hanks film. But as I've said before, poor marketing is to blame here, as well as some of the worst distribution I've ever seen for a major film. Saving Mr. Banks isn't playing at most of the major movie theaters in New York City. Is it as equally scarce near you? Perhaps Hollywood has finally done it, stuffing the multiplexes with so many movies that 40,000 screens aren't enough anymore. As for Saving Mr. Banks, unless Mary Poppins can pull some Oscars out of that carpet bag, don't expect this film to earn much more than tuppence. As for the weekend's other new releases, you can see Walking with Dinosaurs debuting way down there at #8. Looks like these dinos can blame their extinction on another ice age, this time from Disney. But despite coming in at #9, Dhoom 3 made headlines in Hollywood. That's because the flick boasted the biggest opening ever in the US for a Bollywood film. It only debuted on 236 screens, but 12 of those were IMAX. Dhoom 3 is doing so well on the big screen that it's expected to expand to more, taking showings from The Desolation of Smaug, and is already the widest IMAX release ever for a non-Hollywood film. With Dhoom 3 and instructions not included making similar headlines over the summer, it's starting to look more and more promising that outside film industries have a very good chance of cracking the American movie market. In the near future, will the US see a top 10 scattered with picks from around the globe, as other countries do now? But where would we fit them? On Wednesday, 5 new films go into wide release, with The Wolf of Wall Street expected to lead the pack. Lone Survivor in August Osage County also opened in a handful of theaters to qualify for award season. By the way, Her opened in 6 theaters this past weekend with a disappointingly mild per-theater average. Finally, Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, also an awards contender, expands to 850 theaters. Is your favorite movie of 2013 not getting the attention you feel it deserves? Then be sure to vote and be on the trailer's annual poll for the top 10 movies of the year via the link in the video description. You have until midnight on January 2nd, 2014. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching. And I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.